Guys, what an absolutely incredible card that was. Just finished watching UFC Paris. Like I predicted, the crowd was absolutely electric. Let's dive straight into that main event. Benoit Saint-Denis takes his second loss in a row, and his face was absolutely destroyed. The fight ends at the end of the second round. The doctor, he could have chosen which eye to call the fight off over. Both of his eyes were absolutely shut. Renato Moicano started the first round very fast, very aggressive, got the fight to the ground, and once he did, he put an absolute beating on Benoit Saint-Denis. The guy's too tough for his own good. His face was absolutely destroyed after the first round. You could see how swollen, how bruised he was immediately, and that damage only grew in the second round. Moicano started to put the jab on him in the second round. Benoit did a better job of getting his hips out of the way, defending the takedowns, but the vision was just such an issue. He could not see out of his eye, really either of his eyes, and just kept walking forward onto jabs. By the end of the second round, they had to call the fight off. His face was a complete mess. It was interesting as well. The commentary didn't pick up on it, but Moicano in the second round looked like he could have sustained like an injury to his shoulder or his collarbone. I don't know if his collarbone always looks like that, but it looked like it was sitting out of its socket, like completely dislodged or broken. And he didn't really throw any right hands in that second round. So that was, starting to develop for me, like become really interesting. But the damage was just too much. They couldn't let him go back out for that third round. Yeah, he was absolutely done. Benoit Saint-Denis, like I said, takes his second loss in a row. What can you say about his style? Because it's just always kill or be killed. He puts himself in the line of fire, which is what makes him so exciting, obviously. But when you see the reverse side of the coin, it can be pretty hard to watch because he doesn't know any other way but, like I said, to put himself in the line of fire and continue to try and create damage. But he was just running into car crashes tonight. That style can only work for so long. You've seen it countless and countless times. If you fight, putting your body on the line, one day your body's going to give out. And it's a really tough spot now for Benoit Saint-Denis, who's known as the God of War. Someone who is always going to put himself in an exciting fight, a real fan favorite. But just stylistically, you just can't take that much damage. You can't sustain that over your career. You saw what Poirier did to him in his last fight, and then the amount of damage he took tonight. I think he needs to have a long time off and develop some things in his game which can lead him to be more defensively sound going forward. Because like I said, you just cannot take that much damage over and over and over. On the other side, Money Moicano, massive surprise. Look at the guy. He gets on the mic again and cuts an absolute crazy promo. I did not see him coming through with a performance like this whatsoever. I thought the ground was going to be a lot more competitive than it was. Moicano sliced through him, especially once he got through to the mount, once he got to the back. And the damage he was able to accrue over the time was really special. The guy has slick jiu-jitsu. He still gets hit a bit on the feet. He doesn't really move his head. But, in a stylistic fight like this, reflecting, it was actually, it was quite a good matchup for him. So he continues to move up in the division. Benoit Saint-Denis, he needs a bit of a reset. Take some time. Gain some more skills, a bit more experience in the gym and come back stronger. Moicano is going to continue to surge. He's going to want a big name next. He's starting to build up a really nice resume up at lightweight. So it's only killers up in that division. Whatever fight he's next in, it's going to be really exciting. And what an absolute character. How can you not love Money Moicano? The co-main event, Brendan Allen versus Nassourdine Imavov. This was a really interesting fight. Brendan Allen looked like he gassed a little bit. He had a really, really great first round. I think he spent 4 minutes and 45 seconds on top of Imavov, got the takedown super early and was able to control him for a lot of the round. Unfortunately, didn't get any damage off. Like you saw in the main event, how damaging that those spots can be on the ground. But Brendan Allen, he was controlling more, maybe looking more for the chokes, for the positions. So Imavov got back to the stool pretty much untouched in terms of damage-wise. He adjusted really well, coming out in the second round, sprawling really nicely, and he did this cool thing where he'd go and threaten the Das Anaconda off the sprawl, which put Brendan Allen in a defensive state. Imavov's starting to put stuff together now. We always knew he was a really, really good striker, how dangerous he is on the feet. You saw him pretty comfortably outstrike Brendan Allen tonight. But what he's doing, mixing it in, the grappling, not only defensively, but what he was able to do offensively tonight to Brendan Allen, who's one of the better grapplers in this division. He was having real success on the ground, taking down Brendan Allen, getting into real good positions, getting onto his back even. The guy's a real problem. He's super slick. He's just this new wave of fighter who's super good everywhere. Him now, moving forward at middleweight, it's killers only. Absolute killers only. He's ranked number 4, I believe. The guys ahead of him are all sort of tied up, but wherever he lands in that sort of title conversation, he's going to have a really interesting fight. And Sean Strickland's actually beat this guy, so I'm sure he wants to get that rematch and get that fight back as well. He really impressed me tonight. Nassourdine Imavov moves up, moves forward. And like I said, continues to show really impressive improvements in his game. Joanderson Brito, that guy is an absolute powerhouse. He's such a physical specimen. He looks like he's made out of rocks or something. He fights like he's late somewhere. Like he just wants to get in and out of there. He's muscling everything. I have no idea how that guy can carry that over 15 minutes. There was some serious home cooking, I thought, with the judging. I thought Brito pretty comfortably, definitely won the first 2 rounds. I thought the third round was a bit more Gomez's side based off the damage. He was pulling him into the rear power side really nicely. Heading into the judge's decision, I actually walked away just assuming that Brito had won. But no, there was some home cooking. The French guy, William Gomez, although I didn't think he won the fight necessarily, he looked really good. To be able to stay in there and land some really good shots on such a powerhouse like Brito is really impressive, and his win streak continues. He'll move up. Unfortunate result on the judging, but that's the sport. We say it every single week. Until they change something with the judging or hold the judges accountable for what they're seeing and writing down on that piece of paper, then we're just going to go blue in the face talking about it. And when these guys lose half of their money over something like that, it's pretty detrimental to their career and their just drive and motivation for the sport in general. It's pretty brutal. So William Gomez gets a good win on his record over a pretty under the radar guy in Brito, but the real ones know. He has a win over Diego Lopez and was undefeated in the UFC. So William Gomez, I think that win will age really well on paper. So he'll move up into the top 15, get a ranked guy in another absolutely stacked division. Matt Frevola is sent to the shadow realm once again. You've got to feel bad for the guy. He's on the other side of some of the most viral, beautiful, amazing knockouts the sport has seen. In his last fight, exiting as well out of the clinch, Benoit Saint-Denis kicks him in the head. This time, exiting, he eats one of the most picture-perfect framed knees. Fares Ziam, with his length, how much power he was able to generate off that frame, all the way through the knee and into the point of the jaw. That was a really scary KO. Frevola was out for a long time. And like I said, it just sucks to see a guy who's so entertaining to watch. Matt Frevola always puts himself in really exciting fights. But like we're talking about in the main event, that warrior mentality, that kill or be killed style, unfortunately, leaves you in this position a lot of the time because the body can only take so much punishment. Fares Ziam, another French guy who's looking like the new wave of evolution of this sport. He's been in the UFC for a little bit now and done a bit of growing in the UFC. He's never looked like this. There was a different confidence around his game, a different confidence around letting his strikes go, his power. Obviously, he's been a really talented kickboxer and quite a decorated kickboxer for a long time, but his ability to put it all together, trust his striking, wrestling, and gas tank, where he's had holes in the past, was a 10 out of 10 performance. And like I said, one of the most spectacular viral KOs you will ever see. Fares Ziam moves forward in the lightweight division. He'll probably crack the rankings now. Again, another guy I'm super, super interested to see moving forward, continuing to grow and improve and show us just exactly what this new wave of fighters is capable of. Matt Frevola, a fan favorite, like I said. He had the war braids on. They were going absolutely wild, curling in all directions from the damage that Ziam was putting on him. Frevola putting himself in that position. He tried to go to the wrestling, tried to go to the takedown, but unfortunately the guy just only knows one way to go out on your shield. And you even heard Ray Longo say at the end of the second round, Frevola was looking damaged, beaten up, bruised, a little bit disheartened. And Ray Longo said, "We got to go out on our shield here, kid. You got 5 minutes." And it was sort of distressing hearing that on the stool, seeing him. Obviously, Ray Longo knows his fighter and how to pump him up, but hearing that and then seeing what happened just a couple minutes later was absolutely brutal. The main card of UFC Paris was absolutely electric. The prelims, a few more decisions, some really fun fights still, some really interesting moments. But the main card, those guys just came and delivered. Another really interesting fight, Brian Battle, Kevin Ducey. That guy needs to get out of Paris quick. Brian Battle, he cut one of the funnier promos I've seen of recent time. He's got a new nickname, The Butcher Brian Battle, which I sort of really like. And he got on the mic and was saying, "Did you really think The Butcher was going to lose a fist fight to a French guy?" Kept repeating it, double middle fingers up to the crowd. He needs to get out of Paris ASAP. What a performance, though. What an incredible performance. The first round, he took a little bit of time to get going. I thought, going into this fight that Ducey was going to have more of an advantage in the grappling, but Battle did a really good job of separating, making it competitive still. And once he got his volume going in the second round, started letting his hands go, the punches fly, he just started to absolutely wilt Ducey. It's one of those beautiful finishes where you can see the wave start to build, start to pick up momentum, and then just crash on the shore. Brian Battle, really, really great performance. Another guy who's done, some growing in the UFC, finding his feet. He won the Ultimate Fighter, but his evolution over the last few fights has been really special. And another guy just super, super excited to keep my eye on. The last Pirate, Morgan Charrier, he had a beautiful finish as well. Beautiful leaping left hook, caught the kick, just flowed into the leaping left hook perfectly. He was pretty much in control of that whole fight. That was a bit of a mismatch going in, but he got the crowd absolutely going and, again, moved forward in a featherweight division full of absolute killers. But he's a guy with a lot of experience, a lot of experience outside the UFC. I feel like his game's pretty put together now, which is a good place to be coming into the UFC with a lot of experience and a lot of confidence in your skills. So watch out for him as well. The last Pirate. Wow. Guys, absolutely awesome card. Really, really interesting fights. Awesome storylines coming out of it. I enjoyed watching all of these fights. I thought the matchmaking was really, really good. Not only was there some really, really great finishes, but you had some really good back and forth fights as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for joining me. If you could like, subscribe, it would really help me a lot. And we'll chat soon. Thank you.